A federal judge deciding not to hold Trump attorneys in contempt, basically rejecting a request from the Justice Department to do this because those lawyers didn't comply with the subpoena back in May to hand back documents marked as classified that the former president had in his possession. A spokesperson for Mr. Trump saying in a statement, the president and his counsel will continue to be transparent and cooperative, even in the face of what the spokesperson called the highly weaponized and corrupt witch hunt from the DOJ. That is language we have heard from the Trump team before. The Department of Justice has no comment as this news, again, just breaking in the last couple of minutes or so. Ken Dilanian is joining us now. So what was interesting, it's not like we could watch this go down. This was behind closed doors. NBC News was part of a coalition of outlets that had sought to make this public, right, that had sought to have access to it. Talk about what happened today, why this matters here. It all centers around this kind of hot potato, right?
Yes.
Like, will these Trump attorneys sign a document saying, yes, we've given everything back? It seems like people don't want to do that.
And we have to be a little careful because there's a lot we don't know. But what we're able to report is that the judge did not grant the Justice Department's request to hold the Trump team, the Trump office of the former president, in contempt of court for noncompliance with the subpoena. We don't know what other conditions she may have imposed, but it feels like she's telling this two sides to figure it out among themselves. This whole thing, I got to say, Hallie, is perplexing to me because it seems like, you know, I've never seen this before where the government has a search warrant in a case with probable cause to believe a crime has been committed to find some classified documents. But then in another context, they're asking a judge for a contempt order. As you know, apparently they still think there are classified documents out there. They have an existing grand jury subpoena, but I guess they don't have enough evidence to go do another search. I mean,
that's what's confusing to you, is if they thought there was still more stuff out there. Could this be just punitive, though? Could this be just an instance from the DOJ where they feel like, hey, you didn't tell us the whole truth, and now we're gonna ask the judge for this?
Yeah, but in a situation where you've already done a search, you know, normally in a case like this, you would indict the defendant. If you thought the defendant was still withholding classified information and you already had evidence that they improperly took classified information to their home, you wouldn't be, you know, messing around with a judge in front of a grand jury. It's very perplexing. It suggests that the Justice Department has not been able to connect Donald Trump personally to these documents.
So this was my next question for you, which is what is the implication for the former president himself here? Because as you rightly note, what was involved today was not him himself. It was sort of the office of the former president.
Right. And they're trying to get, as you alluded to, they're trying to get the lawyers to certify that, in fact, all the documents have been turned over. And for reasons that are obvious to both of us, none of the lawyers appear willing to do that, because how would they possibly know? And Trump has a history of not being straight with the people who work for him. But it's also true that in many of these cases, as we talked about the Mueller situation, the Trump Organization case, Trump's distance from the actions that are taken on his behalf have saved him in these investigations.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.